Abusive parents. We all know some of those, all right? So there's a 75% chance that you do know an abusive parent. And you should listen to this video because here are some reasons and things that happen to you when you're abused. And you may not be aware of it. It might affect your love life. It might affect your work. So listen up, all right? So abusive parents, all right? Parental abuse can come in many forms, including physical, right? We, some of us went through physical abuse, some sexual, some of us did, all right? Verbal abuse or emotional, okay? The emotional abuse usually comes from your mother, all right? The physical most likely comes from your father. Okay, there's very few times that the physical and emotional comes from your mother, but emotional definitely comes from your mom. Okay, women, this is what you do to your children, narcissistic mothers out there. Okay, you turn your girls into narcissists. All right, this is what you do. All right, you narcissistic mother killed the love out of your baby girls so she doesn't find love, just like you don't have any love in your life, okay? And there's a big prize for you at the end when you die, okay? Special place for a shit like you, all right? So certain types of abuse, like physical abuse, are easier to recognize, right? Because we all see it, boom, 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 black eyes, right? Okay, so emotional abusive parents, okay? Emotional abusive parents fail to meet their child's need for love and support. Narcissistic mothers, I'm calling you out, all right? So if you want to hate me all you want. I don't give a shit, but this is what you're doing to your girls, all right? All right, so let's go to number one. The parents physically injures a child. Okay, this most likely happens from your dad, all right? So those of you who suffered from an abusive father, listen up, all right? So parents who commit physical abuse are unable to control their anger and turn to violence, including, all right, hitting, kicking, or choking a child. Have you experienced those things? Most likely you have. All right. It's not nice when your own father's choking the shit out of you, right? Right. Kicking you, wondering what the hell did I do? It was nothing you did. It is his problems. It is his shortcomings. And he put those and projected those on you. And guess what? You've been carrying that shit since you were a child. These are the things that you need to fix in your own personal life to move forward, because all of this stuff is controlling you all the way till when this happened. All right, most likely if you went through some physical abuse, you most likely became a physical abuser yourself. I'm not here throwing shade. I'm just saying that this is the reality of life. Okay, no shade. You are also suffering. Why? The person who abuses someone else, okay, like for me, when I abused people in my past life, I also was hurting. Why? Because we also don't want to do these things to other people. But there's times that no one gave us the tools on how to respond appropriately. You see? So these are the things that you don't get to learn in an unhealthy home where you get physically, emotional, and sexually abused. All right, so let's continue. All right, so children may develop broken bones or bruises for the physical, right? Abusive parents often tell their children that they would lie if their injuries were ever questioned. All right, let me reread that again. Abusive parents often tell their children that they would lie if their injuries were ever questioned. Okay? That means your dad would lie or your mom would lie, but mostly your dad or a man who would physically abuse you would also lie. Also a female, okay? It doesn't make sense to lie when your children are calling you out. All your children are doing is looking for a safe place because you do not provide a safe place. Okay, so teachers, coaches, and pediatricians all play an important role in detecting physical abuse. Of course, because it's mostly men who do this. They don't pay attention to emotional abuse. This is how shitty women, narcissistic shitty women like my mother, get away with it. Because to everybody else, oh, they're so great, but yet their own children won't speak up against them. But I do. That is why narcissistic women and men don't like me, because I call them out on their shit. That's why my mom, right? My mom, she's one of those, right? I call her out. She hates that shit, but I enjoy it. Because I know who you truly are, lady. Number 2, the parent uses violence as a form of punishment. Right? We've all been there. Okay? Oh, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. There you are. Kneeling on uncooked beans. You know those hard beans that you have to clean and cook in the supermarket? Yeah. Oh, here's a pile of them. Kneel on them for hours. That is the kind of abuse that I suffered. Senseless, right? Abusive parents. They're shitty, right? So let's go on to number 2. Okay, the use of violence to punish a child is called corporal punishment. That's what I went through, and maybe that's what you went through. So if that's what you went through, my heart goes out to you, right? All right. So when a child displays negative behaviors, okay, these parents turn to physical actions to show their disapproval. Ring any bells? I'm sure it does, okay? These parents turn to physical, whoops, I already read that. Studies on corporal punishment, that's what we're doing, corporal punishment, show that it is not an effective form of punishment. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that that wasn't a good idea on how to raise a child, right? So that is not an effective way to punish and can be detrimental to children's physical and emotional health. You see? So when certain crappy parents see that you're going to do more in your life than them, they will physically and emotionally, intentionally do this to you. Why? Because they're narcissistic parents. Because they don't want their kids to do better than them. This is what parents do. All right? Shitty parents at that. All right? So number 3, the parent consistently makes critical or harmful comments. All right? So emotional and verbal abuse is much harder to detect than physical abuse, of course, right? But it can be just as harmful. It can be worse because it goes undetected. All right, let's not make light of the situation. Women use emotional abuse. This is what they do. An emotional abusive parent may put down a child on a regular basis, right? And this is what little 18-year-old narcissistic girls do to everybody else. See? They turn into you, the parent. How proud you should feel about that, right? You should feel so proud that your daughter became a narcissist just like you and that she won't ever find love. And guess what? As a parent, you are okay with that because it somehow makes you happy, right? So for example, they may call their child stupid. Were you called stupid? Right? Well, that doesn't really inspire any confidence in your child, by the way, right? I mean, FYI, okay? So they call you stupid for getting a poor grade. So they didn't support you in your school. You see, these parents were too busy with their soaps. thinking, oh my God, I can't wait till Mr. and so-and-so and Mrs. So-and-so start having sex because, oh my God, that's going to be so great. Meanwhile, there you are, hungry, cold, and alone, being called stupid because you want to be fed or because you want to do your homework and your parent is too busy drinking and watching soaps. Ladies, this is your problem, okay? For getting a poor grade. In abusive families, this type of comments happen on a regular basis and leaves children feeling worthless. So you see how important it is for you to actually get down to who you really and truly are, because these are the battles that you have to fight. These are the wounds that you have to fix in your life to find love, to find hope, to find romance, to do whatever you want, your hopes, your dreams, that fire that's in you that these people want to take out of you. Okay? Because that's what people want. They want you to be as lifeless as they are. That is what abusers do, okay? So let's continue to number 4, okay? This is the last one I'm going to talk about. I'm going to end the video right here, all right? So you are listening to Let's Talk About It with Mario Vega show, where you are going to listen to, obviously, stuff on abusive parents and so on. But of course, the physical and emotional abuse that we go through with crappy parents. And I know that you went through some of that. And you should really take a good look at your life because you do deserve better, all right? So let's continue to number 4, okay? So the parent humiliates the child in the front of others. You see, but how dare you speak up in front of others? How dare you speak up at the grocery store about how they're treating you? How dare you stand up for yourself? But yet these parents want to belittle you out in public. See? That's what people want. Shitty people that didn't get any love from their family. But guess what? It's up to the individual, right? You see, there's 2 ways to either handle this abuse in your life. Only these 2 choices that you're going to make. Either you're going to be the abuser who never sees the error of his ways, or you're going to sit there and understand that you did do this, dealt with it, and come out on the other side with love in your heart. Okay? You can be the cold, nasty person or the person who has love in their heart. Who's stronger? The person that has love in their heart. Why? Because it takes work to love when you know you've been abused. Okay? So there you go. Either you are strong enough to find love in the dark, or you're weak and you want to bring others down to not have love. Which one are you? Okay? So number 4, the parent humiliates the child in front of others. Okay? Emotional abusive parents may use shame. See, that's how people want to control other people, through shame. Do you see why it's so important for you to understand who you truly are? Because there's people out there that want to shame you, okay? Try to control you and corral you and control your life, even though they're not in your life. See, these people are plotting and scheming against you. They're wasting their time. You know, people waste their time doing that stuff because let's say you did do the work. Let's say you do have a good life. These people who are plotting and scheming behind your back obviously can't help themselves, but they can't plot against you. But they can't help themselves. They can't make themselves better, but they will plot against you. Okay? So they may tell embarrassing stories or engage in a name calling, okay, in front of other people. This is typically done in front of the child's peers, you see, to embarrass you, leaving them to feel embarrassed, and hurt. Okay? Again, this is why it's so very important for you to get to the bottom of your abuse. All right? Obviously, the best way for you to help yourself is to start meditating. Okay? You are not your past. You are not your parents. Okay? You have to understand that. All right? If you are abusing other people and you were abused by their parents, you can stop. You can honestly change your life. Okay? I was abused as well, and I had an alcohol problem, drug addiction, sex addiction, porn addiction, all sorts of things. You know how it is. I made it through all of that. Okay? How? By the power of God. He helped me. The reason you see this person here, it is because of God. Okay? I'm just here doing the best I can, trying to save as many people as possible and bring you people hope. And I don't mean that in a derogatory, you people. All right? I'm just saying the world. We all need peace and love in our hearts. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in a different video later on this week.